Turmoil always going back and forth from the one side who knows and believes that we will succeed in this lifetime versus the side that cannot get past the past and the things which have hindered the flow of that apparent success. The side which doesn't believe in itself versus the side that already knows it succeeded. The side that doesn't know versus the side that is all-knowing. The flesh versus the spirit. The understanding versus the confusion, the clarity versus the illusion. How do we negate which place we are coming from at each moment throughout time? Your thought processes and loops are leaving you so behind, leaving you feeling like you cannot find your spirit once again, leaving you to believe that you are just plunged into chaos with no ability to mend the wounds that life placed unto you. Anxious, scared, confused, but at what cost? Things going on in your life about to crumble, about to tremble down to their knees and fall. All society's programming, all the things you thought you knew, all the people who you thought loved you. So many things in life are not amounting to what you thought they were gonna be. But how in the world can you find room to see what greater heights lie ahead if you're too stuck holding on to the towers that are crumbling down in the past? Creation means inevitable destruction, but why focus on the possible destruction when it's inevitable? Instead, just keep your eyes moving forward ever, backward never, focused on the blessed sight of new beginnings, creation, resurrection. You see, your spirit and your flesh are different, but they're still the same. Because you have the ability to access and tap into the spirit while within a fleshly body, and everything is energy. So the energy that you're picking up on perhaps is at a higher vibration than the lower ones that your flesh tends to be comfortable dwelling at. Yet, in a law of divine oneness, they're the same thing still. So what does that mean? That means you're the alchemist, transmuter of energy. You have the ability to take these seemingly infinite thought processes that just won't stop and turn them into something that was actually infinite, which is the glory of God. You have the ability to take the shame that you are dwelling in, the anxiety, the fear, the crippling, daunting, lower forces of nature that tend so easily to capture you in their lore. You have the ability to break free and soar higher than you ever thought you could have. But you gotta realize, it's never gonna be a shift from one place to another. It is a gradual flow into something greater. You walk in faith, or you tremble in fear. But regardless, it's still the same 2 feet that you are standing on. It's still the same ground that you are standing on. It's still the same wind flowing towards. It's still the same sun shining down. How can your shame and your glory be separate when it's all one experience? How can your anxiety and your clarity be separate when it's all one experience, and your clarity and your anxiety gave the clarity meaning? The ego is always afraid. The things that want to attach to the way we think life is supposed to go in this current moment in time, or throughout this lifetime in general. It's so attached. It's so attached. But you're supposed to be in this world, not of it. What does it really mean to be a stranger to this world? You walk through this world like you are a stranger, like you're just passing through. Like energies and entities are gonna try to bind themselves to you all the day. It's gonna flow through. It's gonna make you say certain things that you didn't even mean, or say things that were greater than you thought you could mean. The spectrum of high and low, the ego, the shadow, it's all bound to project and manifest within this body that you decided to be in at this moment now. So how do we get out of that coral that we walk in that keeps us at a frown, at a constant, making us feel like our glory is not near and that we only have the ability to sit within our shame? How do we change the faith in fear, the faith in the devil, to the faith in God? Because our whole lives up to this moment have really felt like a facade. We've had the moments of clarity. We've had the moments of joy. We've had the moments that make us feel like life is worth continuing to live. But how do we get back to these moments in the middle of such darkness? Firstly, acceptance. Without dark, there is no light. What is the discipline and chastening of God without confusion ending up in blessed sight? You are to be humble. Walk through this world like a stranger. If you're trying to attach to it, that's a false sense of power exerted in a material world that's temporary in nature. That's not a stranger passing by humbly, kindly, allowing this energy to flow through just as quickly as it comes to him. No. Clinging on to things is trying to control the reality that is pure vibrating chaos. You can bring a bit of order to it through your clarity that is gifted and bestowed to you in the spirit under God's canopy, but automatically your tendency will be to attach onto these things because sometimes you believe that it's all you can see, but faith in and of itself is the unseen. Faith is spirituality. Faith is what goes on behind physicality that we can will into existence. But faith can also be exerted through fear. You can also have just as much faith in the devil as you do God. You can also have just as much faith that your life will turn into a facade than you do believing that there is glory to be experienced in front of you if you keep walking forward on that path. You don't have to do a specific calculation. You don't have to do the science. You don't have to do the math. You don't have to understand this stuff through the limited forms of language which you were programmed to think you understand. That just leaves you attached to the experience and the moment at hand. That leaves you trying to cultivate and get it a specific way instead of letting it be what it always could have been, which is so beyond what you could ever understand because God is greater. That's why I don't put limitations on my creator, because I don't know the true limitation of the potential of which was instilled and gifted to me, bestowed unto me. We don't know the limits of human potential. So why are you acting like all you can see is all you can be, when all you can see is improvised through the lens of your past experience? But once again, you'll never move forward if you're stuck holding on and thinking that the past is all there ever was to be experienced. New moments are coming up. New opportunities are arising, waiting for you to take hold of them, to capture them, not to hold on forever, but to experience them in those moments. But you're being hidden, you're being stopped, you're being hindered from doing so because you're thinking too damn much. You're in your head, you're in your flesh. You're trying to understand it because you believe that you don't. You're trying to understand it because it's so beyond you, yet you want it to be in and under control. But your spirit doesn't desire any of that. It just wants to be here. It just wants to be now. It just wants to flow. It doesn't necessarily want to frown, but it understands that that is necessary in order to feel like the man ever. You're a glimpse of a moment that lasts forever, bro. Enjoy it while it is here, including all the fear, including all the shame, the guilt for the things that we did in the past, knowingly or unknowingly, for the mistakes that we're gonna make moving forward, for the mistakes that we feel like we just made right now. But how can you make a steak when you're just energy? There's no such thing as failure when everything is potential. And all you have to do is make the move, and that potential will begin to manifest itself in ways that are greater than you could ever imagine. And nothing from the past can stop that from continuing to happen. Nothing. Granted, karmic debt is real. You might have got yourself in a bit of a deep hole, okay? But you're so deep in that hole that you can't even see what is possible when you even start to take the steps to get out of that. I don't know if you've ever seen My Name is Earl. It's an amazing show. This man, terrible guy, kind of guy who does nothing but bad things and wonders why his life sucks. Scratches off a lotto ticket, wins, gets it taken away from him, gets hit by a car. As he's in that hospital, he realizes karma is real as fuck. Excuse my language. He writes down a list of everything bad he's ever done, and one by one he's going to make up for all his mistakes, because he's now afraid that karma's going to kill him, because he realizes that there is something above him shooing him the rewards, making him reap the rewards of his actions. So the second he begins to cross that stuff off of his list, the lotto ticket comes right back to his feet, and he uses that as an opportunity for greater heights and growth, because now he knows that there was always something above himself to contribute to, something greater. But he never would have known that if he was stuck holding on to believing that it's going to come later and doing whatever his flesh desired in the moment now instead. The more you do that, the more you will be stuck living vicariously through your head, through thoughts, through numbness. Because only this moment now is where you can bring something into fruition and decide to do something greater than what you thought you were limited to, or what the lower vibrational emotions kept you binded and closed off from becoming and continuously living in and being. So even if you're at the bottom of the lowest of the low, you wouldn't even know what it's like to take steps forward and what those rewards will be, just because they're not as great as someone who seemingly didn't commit as much sin in their life. You decided to be here right now, and so did they at that time. So comparison is the thief of joy. That's the most idiotic thing to do, is sit here and compare yourself to someone who you don't even know the full depth and situation of. Or if they came down from above and are experiencing this for the 5th or 6th time, and in their past behind they already did all that shit that they had to make up for. Now that's deeper than what my mind has in store to be able to articulate and talk about right now. I'm not gonna get into soul families, soul ties, past lives, anything like that. All I'm gonna let you know to do is to stop being a damn brat. Because those parts of you that you are allowing to manifest through you and that you're attached to are like children running wild inside your flesh. Pain doesn't know it's causing pain, yet it's causing you pain all day. So what does that mean? Your slips in awareness. The highest level of awareness is infinite love and compassion. So you slipping in that awareness is allowing you to believe that these emotions that you're experiencing are real. Their concepts have power over you. The idea of them has power over you. But how can something that doesn't know it's causing pain have power over you? That's like literally you feeding into these emotions. This is what you're doing. And allowing them to bring you to actions that numb you and make the thoughts 10 times harder, because temporary satisfactions do not satisfy the pain that we have built up within, ever. You gotta sit here and let it heal and just fucking breathe for a minute. Start eating better foods that are healing for your body instead of decaying and eroding you. But what is the best comparison to you feeding into these emotions? Because I had a little sidetrack there. It's like a kid has a desire and is throwing a fit, and you just give it the phone. You just give it the bib, or the thing, you know, the pacifier. You give it the temporary fix. But that doesn't stop it from crying later about the same exact thing. Neglect is exactly what that is. So you neglecting these emotions that are hurting you and leading you to more experiences of pain is just like neglecting a child, in which that child will end up causing more pain because it is unaware and it doesn't know what it's doing. Pain doesn't know it's causing pain, so you have to treat the pain within you and the things that cause it like crying little babies. And think about how much better that'll make you at raising a child in the future, you know? But sincerely, you can't give that shit so much power. For one, energy is transmuted. It can't be created or destroyed. So you're not gonna create glory out of destroying your shame and all these lower things in your life and your lower nature. No, you're only gonna transmute it into a greater experience. You're only gonna either walk forward towards glory or backward in fear and shame. But either way, you're still on the two same feet. Either way, the path never changed. It's all energy. Realize your pain is not causing pain. Realize your pain does not know it's causing pain. And take that energy, nurture it like it's a little baby, and as you begin to nurture it, you begin to nurture your full and whole self, and you begin to nurture your blood and the blood that's within you and the bloodline that you came from, cultivating more compassion for everybody around you in existence and never needing to operate off of hate or lust or fear or anger or shame or any of these things that are just so lame. No. You can find glory behind the name of God. That you continue to contribute to every way in which you walk. Forward ever, backward never. Your connection from spirit will not be severed. But realize that weather has its seasons. Allow them to flow. Allow life to bring you greater things than you could have ever known from your limited perspective of experience. And let this experience be something greater than you ever thought it could have been. You can't do that by holding on and attaching to what you wanted it to be. Amen.